The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this Halloween day, October 31st, 2023. Remember, our show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on their first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all of their great articles and other great podcasts, such as No Credentials Required. Tuesday night, so it's Craft Brewed Sports with Mike and the guys over there at craftbrewedsports.com. High-low sports with DJ and Kelsey. They're the best in the football business. Those guys know everything that there is to know about college and professional football right across the board. So make sure you go check them out. And a friend of the show, Aaron over at Brutally Honest Sports. So make sure you go to the bellyupsports.com to check all those shows out. And thank you very much for making this a part of your day each and every day from all of us here at 1420 World Headquarters. Yesterday, I wrote an article about the woes of the Calgary Flames. It's up on the 1420sportsbar.com. You guys go check that out and have a read on it. But Dave and I went a little overtime last night. Stayed for last call. I guess we're calling it on Monday nights and discuss the Flames woes and what they can do moving forward. They go back to the trade of the getting Huberdeau from Florida last year with the Tkachuk thing. We kind of didn't beat that to death. We talked about that. And then everything else going on with the Calgary Flames. Yeah, they have the same record basically as Edmonton Oilers, but the Oilers have they have a couple of aces in their hand right now with McDavid and with Draisaitl, and the Calgary Flames don't have that right now. So me and Dave, we got into it a little bit last night and discussed that at length. So let's give that a listen, then we'll get I want to get you guys' response on the Calgary Flames. And like I said, make sure you guys go to the 1420 sportsbar.com and check out that article that I wrote about the Flames. Even if you're not a Flames fan, it's pretty intriguing stuff about what they got going on there and how it's just it hasn't worked at all, and it's only going to go from bad to worse in the very near future. So here's Dave and I from last call at the 1420 Sports Bar podcast last night. Heritage Classic, and he goes, we just gotta stay the course and find a way to win. We're really close. You're not really close. So those two teams or those two players, they seem to not give a shit, and it's odd to see that. And it's not odd, but these are two guys who were very loud in their opinion about Coach Daryl Sutter last season, and Sutter was let go mid-season last year. Now these two guys are still coasting away. Now you got a Huberdeau in the first year of an 8-year deal at $10.5 million a year, and you have Kadri in his second year at $7 million a year. So all of a sudden that's $17 million. If you want to do the math, like you said, Dave, that's 20% of the cap that the Flames are spending on two guys who don't seem to give a shit. They don't.
There's a lot of questions. I have more questions. That Brad Treliving, the manager of the Calgary Flames, and now who's the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he got a promotion. The pressure is just a lot. The pressure is the same. The lights are just brighter in Toronto. The fucking shit that he left behind here in Calgary, Alberta. If I was a Flames fan, I don't know what I would do. I know how to divorce teams. Give me a call. I'll send you the paperwork and what you got to do.
1-800 fuck you. Yeah.
At least have a trial separation, because you guys are so fucked because your two highest players don't give a fuck and they're not producing. At least with the Oilers right now, they're underperforming on the ice, and that is clear by their record. But your two highest players are two of the top 5 players in the league. Draisaitl and McDavid want to win. They play well together, and they're difference makers. Calgary, your two highest players, I don't know if they can play in fucking Europe right now. They're that bad.
Well, you look at Kadri's got those 2 points. He's a bit of a mouthpiece, always kind of has been when he was in Toronto. Like he voiced opinion. It's nothing to do with anything, but he's a mouthpiece, and he always finds something wrong with everybody else. It's never him. And then Huberdeau, like somehow he had 115 points 2 years ago in Florida, and now he's at 5. I think he was 50 last year, 55 points last year. It's a 60. That's a 60-point drop. Yeah, you get butthurt. Yeah, he got traded. Yeah. But the thing is, Dave, if he's so butthurt about getting traded from Florida for Tkachuk and that deal that the Flames were forced to make the deal, I get it. It was one of those deals. It looked like a very good hockey trade at the time, and Tkachuk's turned out to be one way, and Huberdeau's went the other way. But if Huberdeau didn't want to be there, why did he sign that contract extension? That's on you. That is completely on you, you little prick. That is 100% on you. Because if you're that good, you would have got that money somewhere else. You didn't have to be. You could have went free agent after the same thing, the same way that Tkachuk had. You had the same deal. You could have went anywhere else. Why? If you didn't want to be in Calgary, why did you take that deal? Or is this a situation where Brad Treliving, he signed that deal, convinced him, goes, oh fuck, this isn't going to turn out well, and now Treliving goes, because Treliving did not get re-signed. He just didn't get not re-signed in Calgary, right? It was one of those things.
I was told he was offered a contract, and
he said no.
But no, thank you. Yeah. So right, this is what I think when that trade happened. Like, you know, that Goudreau, the last second leaving town, was a total kick in the nuts to him. And then at least Tkachuk came to him and said, "There's no way I'm signing after this year." And that's when he made the trade for Huberdeau. And then Huberdeau, they had a supper in Montreal. And that's when, because they still had a year. Like there was, excuse me. There was a year on that contract. There was no rush to sign him. Like, and for Treliving to give Huberdeau $10 million without even stepping 10.5 a year for 8 years without even stepping foot on the ice in the
putting the flaming sea on
was a massive mistake.
And Treliving knew that this offseason when he went, I'm out, I'm going to go to Toronto. And it's
because this team's fucked. Because Kadri, we signed Kadri.
Fucked.
Yeah. It made sense.
They've already got rid of one coach. They're going to get rid of another. They'll try to, and on and on and on. And I'm going to give this to fucking Craig Conroy and everything else. And the problem that they got there in Calgary now is that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when they're going to have a new building, if this team stinks and the economy's tough, David, I don't want to talk money and everything else, but I'm going to. If this team stinks in 3 years, that new building's going to be empty. And it's going to be a tough look because Calgary's a tough town, man. And if that team stinks and the ticket prices go up and on and on and on, you aren't going to have people going to that new building. It'll be a 1 year brand new building, and then after that, you know what? You're like, holy fuck, what the hell?
All the suites are going to be sold. All the luxury suites are going to be sold. There's going to be a good season ticket base, but where you make your money is the walk-ups, and this team that they're putting out right now, there is going to be 0 walk-ups, and they're going to find out really fucking quick because who's going to come and watch this team? It's not only that they're bad, they have high-priced players playing that don't give a fuck. And they're not good. So where's the thing? It's really similar. As much as I hate comparing the two teams, it's like Denver Broncos and Calgary Flames. I've made my peace with the fact that Denver Broncos suck. Like the Denver Broncos and Calgary Flames are the exact same franchise right now. One's proud franchises. Yeah. And they fucking suck. They fucking suck.
You know what? You look at when the Rogers Center or Rogers Place in can't remember what's Rogers Place there in Edmonton was done. It was basically done the same time that McDavid was coming up into the league and everything else, and he's
which was more lucky than good, but yeah,
it worked out, right? And
yeah.
it's one of those things. And if Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau are your selling points for new building in Calgary, that's a bad selling point, man. That's a for sale sign waiting to happen. It's not good, because now you've had Huberdeau here for 88 games, I think it is now, when it's all said and done, from last year, some games he didn't play, and then this year in the 7 games they played this year. That's a big enough sample size to tell me this guy doesn't want to be there. There's a big enough sample size to tell me this guy's not good. There's a big enough sample size to tell me this is going to be a wreck for years to come. It's not going to get better. Like to me, he seems like a pouty little prick. That's what it seems to me.
And this is year 1 on a 10 and a half, 8-year contract.
8-year
like
deal.
that is, it's such an anchor. I don't know what. Like, as much as I'd love to see the failure of the Calgary Flames franchise, I do feel bad for first-year manager Craig Conroy, who's been waiting forever. He's the new GM. Yep. And Mike Hushka, who's a guy been toiling away. And so you finally get your chance to do it, and this is the fucking hand you're dealt. It's like, it's playing cards, and you terrible. Finally make it to the World Series of Poker, and you're dealt a 2-8 offsuit every single hand. Like, how am I supposed to make money on this? And for
a team they haven't won Stanley Cup since '89. They had that 04 run, and they haven't done a fucking thing since. In between, really,
they've been garbage
around here, right? Around there, nothing.
And they've had garbage.
I mean, Edmonton's the same way, 100%. But
I agree. We all know how I feel about Edmonton, so I can criticize.
Tough draw getting free agents to Canada. It's a tough draw getting free agents to Calgary. It's tough.
I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree. It's a tough draw to get free agents to Calgary and Edmonton. I get it. Guys that want to play hockey and guys that want to win are going to want to come. They're for sure. Like what? Like how is Detroit better than Calgary? I've never been to Detroit, but tell me how the fuck Detroit's better than Calgary. How is?
Well, we talk this all the time, Dave.
Calgary's a great. Calgary's a great fucking city.
When teams bottom out, then you have a chance. When teams are relevant, are just mediocre for a long time, that's a problem. And that's what Calgary's been for a long time. Make the playoffs, lose around. Make the playoffs, win around. Make the playoffs, win around. Lose around.
Yeah.
Like it's a waste of fucking time. It's an absolute waste of fucking time.
Don't blame it on the fact that these cities are in Calgary. If you like playing hockey and you're good at hockey and you can succeed at hockey, you're gonna fucking love playing in Canada. You will love.
No, I agree with you, but the thing is, again, and I 100%. Like if you win anything in Canada, they will name schools after you. They will name streets.
You got that
you.
fucking right.
You are a king. Like you won't pay for a meal ever again. But the thing is that, you know what? I don't mind being warm, right? I don't mind not paying taxes. So, actually, me and Dan were talking about this last night, that the best gig in the world might be to be an LA King. They were really good. They won some cups, and they were making, and those boys were making a lot of money. And they were famous just enough and get to hang out with really famous people. That might be the best job in hockey, is being in Los Angeles King when they won those 2 cups.
Depends what you want, though, right? Because if you're some fucking hayseed from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan,
yeah,
right? You know, like, are you going to be comfortable in LA? Like, because to keep your game successful, to get to do what got you into the league, you're going to have to continue doing that. And hanging out with movie stars ain't your gig, right? It ain't your gig. Like hanging out the thing. Like you're a rink rat. You want to go and play hockey. And there's I would assume 70% of the league is like that. That to maintain their place in the league, their spot on the team, and what they got to do, they got to work. Like your body is your job, right? Maintaining, like, how you hanging, where you hanging. You don't hang anymore in professional sports, specifically hockey, which is the toughest sport. It's the most physical.
Well,
It's
most games, the whole bit. Like, it's not
most games. Yeah, and you got these NBA pussies that need that can only play like 1.5 games a week, and I need a maintenance day. You don't get maintenance days in the NHL.
You play every night.
It's tough. Yeah, for a tenth of the wage.
Do
you suck it up?
Like, is the problem with Huberdeau and with Kadri is that they're just a couple of pricks? Let's call a spade a spade. Go for clickbait, whatever it is. Do you think they're just a couple of fucking pricks who just like, I got paid. I don't know. We got rid of one coach. I'll get rid of another, and I'm here forever.
I never liked Kadri. I didn't like him as a Leaf because he was stupid on the ice. He was stupid on the ice. He took costly penalties that cost.
He cost a couple of series of, if I recall
right.
Correctly, yeah.
And then he got to Colorado, and he happened to be there. He was a contributor. I'm not saying he wasn't. He was a contributor. And then he started talking shit. Right, as soon as he got that fucking cup in the hand, he started talking shit. And then, like, when you got a shit talker and you're signing him on a free agent contract for 6 more years, like, fuck that. Yeah, he was a contributor. He wasn't the reason Colorado won that cup.
You know, you look at the all timers and who are great stars and everything, and superstars and everything else. And I wouldn't put Kadri in any, like, fuck. I have a train of thought. I'm trying to catch it before it drives out of the station here. But you look at guys that are really good. They don't say fuck all. And I'm not putting Mike Modano or Kadri in Mike Modano's sphere of excellence by any means. But you look at guys who go to teams that they want to win, like the
who was the guy that
Luke
was
Robitaille, who went to Detroit? Didn't say a fucking word. They just went and won. Like
Mike Pekka.
I like Pekka. I like Pekka a lot.
Right. You know, like, so I'm going to compare Pekka and Kadri.
Same player, kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, but like a totally difference. Like Kadri has a little bit more sandpaper to his game, and Pekka didn't work out with the Oilers.
Same sandpaper, but different size yaps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same sandpaper, but like just in a different grade, I guess.
Yeah,
but I think it didn't work out for Pekka, but like, you know, I still have more respect for Pekka than I do for Kadri, because
like I like the pronger back in 06, whatever it was, when the strike was over, and Pronger and Pekka signed with the
Oil,
and the Oilers gave both of them basically a chance because both of them were kind of out of league a little bit, and Pekka was great. Like, he resurged his career, and obviously same with Pronger. What fucking Kadri's doing, like, whatever you're trying to, like, you're gonna have more money than you know what to do with, but what you're doing to your legacy, yeah, you have your cup, but you're turning into a fucking piece of shit. And Huberdeau's even worse because I think he went first overall in his draft year, and yeah, you got your 115 point year. So you got traded, which you had to agree with, and then which you had to sign a contract with. So that's on you, Huberdeau. You signed the contract. No one begged you to. Nobody. You could have said, no, I'll sign somewhere else, because he would have got a contract anywhere he wanted. Anywhere.
Do you think that
he agreed to it?
Do you think that Florida GM deserves the GM of the decade? So Huberdeau got that 115 point season.
Yep.
And then, like, he ain't that fucking good. He ain't that.
I
fucking
saw something.
Good.
And
then like, okay, like, you want him? Okay, yep, yours.
It was too quick.
Done.
Yep. It was a July night or June or July night, I was in Medicine Hat and I was umpiring a game there, and I saw that I went for a piss. We were on the balcony, and or the patio, I guess, whatever it is, and what the hell? Because I didn't know the background of everything that happened. Jesus, that's a rather big trade. Huberdeau's got this, Kachuk does this. Like, Jesus.
It's a massive trade, but
and it was on a Friday night. It was like, let's just hide this one away for the weekend, and we'll just put it over here. I was like, Jesus Christ! And it turns out, well, you know what? Florida really won that deal, like 100%. Because Florida doesn't do anything last year without Kachuk, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, Kachuk gets, I think, too much credit. It's Bobrovsky or whoever that fucking.
Oh, the team's good. Obviously, the team's good.
I don't think they're not as good as the Leafs. They're not as good as the Rangers.
Well,
they're not as good as.
Year,
they're not as because of Bobrovsky.
That team that team somehow got 115 points out of Huberdeau.
Yeah, well, out of Huberdeau, and then also too, right? Like the Chicago doesn't beat Pittsburgh on game 81, then they're out, right?
On and on.
So like that. Thank God that Florida Panther team got their comeuppance in the Cup final, right? Because they weren't that good. They just caught lightning in a bottle. They got hot, but when you get hot like that in baseball, you're in the World Series. Look at the Arizona Diamondbacks. And when you get hot like that in the NHL, you just can't keep the accelerator to the floor the entire time.
What's
baseball, I think you can.
A year from now, we're sitting here on Halloween Eve, 2024, doing this same old jibber jabber. What's more likely to be to happen? Huberdeau's bought out, Kadri's bought out, or Ryan Huska's fired?
Ryan Huska's fired. It's impossible. You got 6 years of you can't buy those fuckers out. You got this is Huberdeau's first year of a $10.5 million contract for 8 years. First year, this is year one. You're stuck with that 10.5 for 8 fucking years. And you got 5 years left of Kadri at 6.5, I think.
7.
He's
7.
Well, I don't know, but like there's no one gonna take that shit, right? There's
well, they buy him out.
But when you buy out, I don't know this, but then there's a lot of
lawyer and accountant speak coming into that, but yeah, it's
if it's 6 years of $6 million, if you buy that guy out, then he's gone and he can sign for whatever anywhere. But now you have 6 years of $6 million, so you have now 12 years of paying him $3 million a year. That still counts to your cap.
Yeah, no, it's a for a living. When a guy was willing to leave like that, he knew there was something coming up and there was something not going right, because Flames fans should be just as pissed at him as they are at the two players we're talking about. It's crazy to think it's turned out this way. Anyways, no, it's not a fun. It's like my mom's a big Flames fan and she's quite disgusted with that hockey team, and it's like I said, I wrote a little article for the 14pointsportsbar.com today and just give it a read. So it's basically this exact same thing we're talking about. Like it's crazy. It's actually crazy to think.
I honestly don't know what team is further away from the cup than the Calgary Flames.
San Jose hasn't won a game yet, so they're not very.
But that's
they
okay.
have younger talent that. Like you gotta think Chicago, even with their 3 or 4 wins, they have Bedard, right? Where Calgary Jesus fuck.
But Calgary, you got 8 more years after this year. You got 8 years.
8 more. You have 8 years as we speak right now. As we speak right now, you have 8 years minimum of a bad attitude.
Unless you can trade it, but ain't no one.
Ain't no one taking that money.
Oh, you're gonna pay someone else $5 million a year to have them play against you.
Anyways, that's last call at the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Dave, you have yourself a good night. Get yourself some sleep.
I'm going to do that right now, and I just never been so happy to say, Calgary Flames, you guys are fucked.
They're
Fuck
fucked.
that team.
Have a good night, and make sure you guys tip your server after the last call. Have a good night, folks. We'll talk to you again on Thursday night.
Sorry, Mom.
The foul baller. If there's a ball that's gone foul, he's gone to get it. Under his watchful gaze, all bevs, binoculars, and ballpark brats are safe. He's the only thing that stands between his section and certain destruction. That's why he only trusts SeatGeek with his tickets. The ticketing app trusted by fans. SeatGeek, so fans can fan.
There it is, blunt talk from Dave and I about the Calgary Flames Wolves, what they're going to do, where they're going to go, how they're going to try to get it through. Thank you once again to SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app, for sponsoring the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more, and 1420 in the morning as well, as we're here each and every day for your listening and viewing pleasure. Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because we're a little bit everywhere. We got a lot of other stuff going on. Jake's working hard to find some guests for us. The new intern there working hard over down there in central Illinois, doing some stuff for us. Let's get to some birthdays and some on this days and get you guys out of here for the day. Happy 60th birthday to Baseball Hall of Famer, the crime dog, Fred McGriff, born on this day 60 years ago in Tampa, Florida. McGriff was drafted by the New York Yankees in the 9th round of the 1981 amateur draft out of Thomas Jefferson High School, and was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays in December of 1982 and made his Major League debut May 17, 1986, getting into a game as a defensive replacement. But the next day, he started the game as DH and would line the first pitch he saw in the left field for a single. McGriff became an everyday player in Toronto from 1987 to 1990, where he would hit 125 home runs in that span. Was traded along with Tony Fernandez to San Diego for Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter, a deal the Jays felt they needed to make to propel themselves to a World Series. Turns out it worked. He was then traded to Atlanta in 1993 and was a part of the Braves' 1995 World Series team. McGriff would play in the big leagues for 19 seasons with stops in Toronto, San Diego, Tampa, Chicago with the Cubs, the Dodgers. He had a career batting average of .284, 1,550 RBIs, and 493 home runs, and was elected in the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2023. Happy birthday to the crime dog, Fred McGriff. He was a good one. That guy, he could play. He just got dealt some pretty. The Jays need to make that trade to go get Carter and Alomar to get them to the next level. They were licking the jar for a long time. I remember that trade. You're thinking, what the hell are they doing getting rid of? Because you didn't know much about Alomar and Carter because they played in San Diego, a smaller market and everything else. And we were Jays crazy up here. And you're thinking, how the hell are you trading Tony Fernandez and Fred McGriff, two stalwarts in that Jays lineup? But it turned out pretty good for the Jays, as you know, because in 92 and 93, they ended up winning themselves a couple of world championships. And that World Series isn't done yet, folks. I know it's 2-1 for Texas Rangers right now, but I think that's going to go 6 or 7 games. That game was closer to that last night than we thought. Scherzer was great last night, and then the bullpen came in and mopped it all up for Texas. But I think you're going to steal a couple more wins out of at least one more win out of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I hope so. Anymore. More baseball is always good baseball, right? That's not always 100% true. There's some baseball that's actually quite bad. But anyways, let's talk about something that wasn't bad baseball at all. On this day in 2001, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Yankees started a game for the ages in Game 4 of the World Series in front of 55,863 people at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Curt Schilling, the Diamondbacks, and Orlando Hernandez of the Yankees both threw absolute gems for the respective teams, each only giving up one earned run at the time they left the game. Both runs were solo home runs. Shane Spencer for the Yankees at the bottom of the third, and Mark Grace for Arizona in the he got her back in the 4th inning. The teams would remain deadlocked at 1 until the 8th inning, when Arizona would score 2 to take a 3-1 lead. Schilling would give the ball to Arizona closer Young Hung Kim to try and get a 6-out save. And more, as it turns out, Kim worked a perfect 8th inning. This is where things got interesting after Ramiro Mendoza worked a perfect 9th. Kim got a Derek Jeter to ground out on a bunt, gave up a single to Paul O'Neill. struck out Bernie Williams, and then gave up a 2-run home run to the great Tino Martinez to tie the game. Mariano Rivera would come in to hold the game at 3, and then with 2 out in the bottom of the 10th inning, the legend of Mr. October was born. Derek Sanderson Jeter hit a 3-2 count on a 9-pitch at-bat to send the Yankees to a 3-2 or 2-2 series tie. The whole thing, what a game that was in 2001. What an absolute beauty of a ball game. Just everything that you wanted to have in a game, the suspense and the tense and everything. Oh, you remember it like it was yesterday. It's hard to believe it's 22 years ago that all happened. But on this day in 2001, the game started, and then Mr. November took over after midnight, obviously, because of the 9/11. We all know that the whole story and that tragedy that happened. But yeah, it was quite a baseball game. I thought the Yankees were done, and then Tino tied into that one with 2 out in the 9th. And yeah, and then they stuck with Kim through that whole thing, and then the next night with Brocious and everything else, he had a bit of a rough go over there in the Bronx, old Byung-Hun Kim. But that's too bad the Yankees lost that World Series, one of the greatest World Series I've ever seen in my life. So make sure, if you get a chance to watch that entire game. I used to do that all the time on Halloween. Just watch that game, put it on, and drink some beers and hand out candies to kids and everything else. So I might actually just do that tonight. Who knows how it's going to all turn out here at 1420 World Headquarters. So anyways, that's it for the show today, guys. Thank you very much for listening and being a part of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Make sure you go to the 1420 Sports Bar. Check out that article that I wrote yesterday about that Flames situation that me and Dave just talked about on last call last night. As always, go to bellyupsports.com to check out all their great stuff there. And thank you very much once again to SeatGeek for sponsoring the 1420 Sports Bar. We couldn't do it without them. So yeah, that's it for tonight. We'll talk to you guys some more. We got some guests coming up, talk some Oilers hockey this time around with the guys there at the hockeypod.net and everything else. So should be a lot of fun in the next coming days to get more content out there for you guys to indulge in on a daily basis. Anyways, as always, have yourselves a great day, and remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a great day, folks, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer with Sports, talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.